Hello once again. I am finally back. It's been a while. Um, just got a request. So after after the Lorwyn pre-release, had a conversation with a good friend of mine. Um, he was like, "I haven't used it anymore. Stop doing your weekly videos." I've been busy with work and just trying to, I don't know, live. A lot of people feel that it's like stress and anxiety and just I don't know stuff. Just state of the world. I could make a separate video all about that, how I feel about the world itself. But it is what it is, and I like to distract myself from the horrors of reality with magic. So come along and see some Azula deck here, and just a little bit of a description and a rundown. So started. I call the deck Azulita. She do scary, so I'll Azulita. But she is a blue fire user. Um, the deck itself, I know it looks pricey. There's a lot of uh cards that you can use instead of a lot of the cards that I have in here. Total price is 245, which again I keep told by people that 245 like $300 is actually like really cheap for a commander deck, and I'm like, precons are $45 now. Precons are so cheap. um but precon is that is just what it is. It's pre-constructed. It's a way to play that you don't necessarily you know like. Maybe you're just starting magic and you just want to it. So precons are they're built with the theme of whatever set they're being released with in mind. Um, and I love that. I love that about precons. It's really fun, like break into a style you want. Um, with this one, for example, like this is a Spellslinger, but it's Spellslinger Grixis. I don't really see, which is blue, black, red. I don't really see Spellslinger Grixis anywhere. Um, and it's like semi uh Voltron. So like it's like a big power up your commander. Hopefully you can get in a swing, but mostly this is designed for you know commander and not just to kill somebody in 5 turns, right? Or not even just to blow up the board in 5 turns. All the decks that I make are going to be bracket 2. I don't really mess with like game changers because honestly they feel bad to play. Just personally, I've tried playing them. I don't like them. Deflecting SWAT, whatever the auto counter spell is, and I think I don't Deadly Rollick is not one of them, but it feels like one of them. It's just because you get to play a card for free, but there's plenty of other cards in Magic that you do get to play for free. So it's I don't know. There's ways to play this game that makes it feel like you're running a full deck of game changers when it's just like, I don't know, a bunch of commons, uncommons, and a couple of rares thrown in to really support you. So um this deck is like what I said it is. Um Grixis Spellslinger. So it really focuses on things that are either instant or have flash. So anything that you can play at instant speed, because it's whenever Azula, or it's whenever you cast a spell while Azula is attacking, copy that spell, choose new targets for the copy. If you copy a permanent, you're just going to make a token of it. Um, so that's what we're focusing on with Azula. Hopefully, we can get through a lot of the deck. We have a lot of draw here. We have ways of powering up other creatures with draw, or like playing a certain amount of cards per turn. So we'll get into that as well. And then really, I tried to keep the theme of Avatar present with. Sorry, I'm cracking mine with Azula because obviously it's Avatar. I know a lot of people like to just fucking go and blow. They blow their load with you know 5 or 6 cards from hand. They have no way to refill it, and then you're left there with, may have 40 life, but did you kill the rest of the players? Did you get this guy all the way down to 0? At least the person you were targeting, like when I see people who play Spellslinger, it's like, ooh, I see 2 or 3 cards I can play in one turn. That's cool, but are you like, why are you playing those cards? Are you playing them to kill somebody? So great, you did it in 3 cards, but or are you playing it to like strengthen your board, like build it up, and then supply run yourself for the next turn or next 2 or 3 turns and guarantee a win later? Because I feel like uh this video is going to be a lot more about how I like to play Commander rather than, or even maybe how Commander should be played over like Azula, but we'll try and get through it. So like, for me personally, I really enjoy Commander. You know what? I'll make a separate video about that. I'm gonna run down Azula and exactly why I like to run her the way I do. So we're gonna go to Azula. We're here. I don't know what salt, like how salty a salt deck should be, but this one apparently is way below average. This is 16.9 and the median is like 39 and 40. Average looks like 41. So it's crazy because I've played this deck, and one time, this is before I upgraded it. This is an upgraded version of where I played it. I played this deck and it was annoying as fuck. Like, it was, oh no, here comes Christian again, doubling fucking, creatures and instants and all this nonsense. And then he's gonna draw 10 cards, and then he's gonna do this and that. I'm like, that makes me a little bit salty, like coming from the perspective of somebody else. But I don't know. I don't know why they judge it off of whatever they judge it off of, the 16. Maybe it's counter spells. I don't know. We'll see. So, Azula. She is a 4-cost commander who's a 4/4 with Firebending 2, which means that when you attack, you're going to add 2 red to your mana base, right? So, not your mana base, but like to your floating mana, your usable mana. So you want to be attacking with her all the time. Want to be swinging with her. So you need cards that are going to support you swinging with her, right? Let's get into that a little bit. I like Architect, by the way. I'm coming from Moxfield, which feels like all it does is it just orders the categories or the groups by type. Then I like that I get to put it into categories now, so that I can show, people things. I don't agree with whatever this is, Serpent of the Past being a finisher. Make any sense to me? It just like you put it on the board and it's really big. I might just put it with creature or something. But we'll go through all the cards here. The land base is pretty expensive. It's $6. To me, that's expensive. And I have another deck that's like the land base is $100, and I know people whose land base is 1,000 something. But am I that unless you're doing CEH, which again I'll do it in another video. I feel CEH is just boring as hell. You just want to win on turn 3. Just play by yourself. There's ways to play by yourself. You can go into a game store right now, sit down, undo your map, play by yourself. Got solitaire. Oh, I won in 3 turns. Oop, I won on my first turn. Good game. Shake, shake, shake. I guess. I don't know. Leave. What else do you do? God. Commander, I don't know. Commander should be a way to play with people that makes it fun and interesting, and you can be beat, but also you can. I don't know. I don't know. People are weird, man. All they want to do is win. Maybe it's because they just grew up with a life of constant loss. Now all they want to do is win. Maybe I'm getting too deep on that one. Here we go. Okay, instant. First instant we have, which, okay. I know it just says instant, but there are other instant deck. Like if I go here to type, I have 6 artifacts, 17 creatures, 7 enchantments, 26 instants, 38 land, and only 5 sorcery. So, I like going through it via the category, just feels better. Um, like this has burn, but it's an so I'm just gonna go down below Azula and then just first instant we have is Feed the Flames. I just added this last night. Um, and it's only 35 cents, but I think this really eats 4 mana for 5 damage to target creature, and if that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. You can cast this with Azula the very same turn that she's able to attack. Give her haste. I don't know that I gave her any haste in this deck, but we'll see. It's been a while since I've seen cards. But the point is with Feed the Flames is that you could potentially deal 10 damage to a creature, 10 toughness, and then just straight up exile it. Or you could deal damage to 5 toughness creatures. Exile both. So you can hit multiple opponents that have threats on the board, or you can hit one opponent with giant threat. Feed the Flames is really good. It's a common. It's from the new Lorwyn. I think it's really, especially Glenn Alendra's Answer. I was very lucky to pull this. Apparently, it's $13. So sorry, people who are looking for a good option. Honestly, you can just change this to a counter spell. But this spell can't be countered for 4 mana. Also, counter all spells your opponents control and all abilities your opponents control. Then create a 1/1 blue and black fairy creature token with flying for each spell and ability countered this way. If you have somebody in your pod playing stacks, this is going to kill them. This is going to ruin their soul. They will probably want to, because stacks isn't just, from what I'm starting to learn, it's not just instant sorceries and whatever. It's the fact that you are combining stuff on your board that is saying, oh, when you cast something, this happens. And then let's say that trigger happens. So then this trigger happens. Then all these little baby triggers happen. And then I'm dealing 50 damage. Well, guess what? Glenn Alendra says, no. Counters every single. So like you'd be like, oh, do you want that to resolve? Like you just wait for them to resolve it. Like, yeah, okay, well, we can start resolving. Okay, Glenn Alendra. And then you can say, I'm countering all of your spells and abilities past turn. And they're gonna look at you and go, why? Why would you be so mean? I'm being mean because you were about to 1 card to answer your 35 million trigger. And I'll make my 35 million fairies, and then you swing lethal away. It's just a really good fun card. We're gonna continue through removal here. We have Azula Always Lies. Again, Avatar. It goes with theme. I'd rather play a theme deck than play a deck guaranteed. Theme is more. That's not an argument. It's a fact. Choose one or both. Target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn, or put a 1/1 counter on target creature. You can do both of these things at the same time. So you can choose to put -1s on somebody's creature twice. You could kill a creature. You could kill 2 creatures with one toughness, or kill 2 creatures, or kill 1 creature with 2 toughness. And then you can put 1/1s on a target creature twice. Pretty insane that it. I mean, you just get to double everything. So all you have to do is pay a black for this because you have the floating red. It's pretty intense. There's a lot of like low toughness computers, like especially like merfolk and stuff, that you can this. Or you can get a really good trade. Like just wait till they declare blockers, and so okay, that's your blocker. Okay, Azula Always Lies, and then you go in on them with that. Baleful Mastery. I got this from Outlaws of Thunder Junction precon. You may pay 2 black, or generic and black, rather than pay this spell's mana cost. If 2 was paid, opponent draws a card. You don't have to do that because this only costs 4, and Azula pays for 2 of that. So you could then just pay the generic and the black to cast this with 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 Azula's with Azula's 2 floating red. But then you exile target creature or planeswalker. Guess what? You do that twice. Um, Boomerang basics. It is and I think I have a way to make other like spells have flash in here. So we'll see, but this is sorcery. So you won't necessarily be copying this, but you can return target non-land permanent, roll that permanent, draw a card. For 1 blue, it's a nice bounce. If you need to bounce something on your field to get a re-enter trigger, like this spell seeker over here, then what you can do is you get to, draw a card. Insane. Um on question technique, deals damage equal to 2 plus the number of lesson cards in your graveyard to target. If that creature would die this turn, spell it instead. We have an ample amount of lesson cards, I think. I think we have maybe 6 or 7. So it's not too crazy to get to like 3 or 4 lessons in the graveyard. But I mean, even if you don't, it deals damage equal to 2 already. So you're paying 2 for 2 damage, but you're actually just, you know, paying nothing for 2 damage because Azula's going to copy this and let you pay it for play for free because she has 2 floating red. Then you do 4 damage for free. And if it would die this turn, you exile it instead. So it's pretty crazy. And then guess what? If you have even 1 or 2 lesson cards in your graveyard, you're dealing 3. You're dealing 4 damage to Azula's cracked. Curtain's Call. Instant. It costs 6 to play, but it costs 1 less for each opponent. So hopefully you have 3 opponents where this will only cost 3, which with red, it'll only cost black. Destroy 2 target creatures. Scratch that. Destroy 4. Day of Black Sun. Creature with mana value X or less loses all abilities till end of turn. You turn everything on the board. This is a great board wipe. Turn everything on the board to a blank ability text creature. Fucking just not have to be played with attacking. This is meant to destroy a bunch of things. Now, here's the thing. If you have Azula out and all you want to destroy is something with 3 mana, this only costs 5. So mana value 3 or less loses all abilities to end the turn. Destroy what? Tokens cost 0, destroy all of them. And then a lot of like blockers and stuff cost 3 or less. So you can destroy a bunch of other people's without having to destroy your Azula. And we got Firebending Lesson. It is 1 red, which means it's free with Azula on attack. Deals 2 damage to target creature. Say you kick it. You only need to pay 3 more to kick it to deal 5 times 2 instead because you're going to be copying that. Gadwick's First Duel. This is an enchantment saga. You step 1 for 2 blue. You create a curse roll token attached up to 1 target creature. The enchanted creature, their base power and toughness is 1/1. And that's great because if something said otherwise and their base power and toughness is like 9/9, which do with like there's a Fallout enchantment called like Almost Perfect, I think. Basically you just turn that back to a 1/1. And they can't block very well. So on the second step you scry. The third step, it's really nice. When you cast your next instant sorcery with mana value 3 or less, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. And it's just your next one. But you can also do a sorcery. And there's a couple of sorceries in here that'll help you out. But really, get to if on attack, copying with Azula, guess what? Copying that spell again. So this is useful for getting a full card being played. And a lot of like strong, like really, really strong like plays in Commander are gonna be just copying things or multiplying things. That's why like stuff like that is very expensive. Like doubling damage, tripling damage, really expensive cards, stuff like that. And you just get it. It's a one-time use with Gadwick, but you are stacking that on top of Azula's ability. Pretty good. Heartless Act. It's the Heartless Act from Avatar. I love it. Destroy target creature with no counters on it, or remove up to 3 counters from one target creature. Guess what? You can do both of these. Instant. Boom. This costs 1 black. With Azula's floating red, you can. Let's say a creature had 3 counters on it. Guess what? You copy the spell. You can then destroy target creature with no counters on it, right? So it's pretty dope on that copy. You have, there we go, there's our counter spell. It'll quench you. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. Guess what? We're copying that. So let's say somebody wants to respond to Azula attacking. Well, you can quench you, double it, and then make them pay 2, and then they'll have to pay 2 again to let it resolve. So let's say they even tried to just bounce her with a 1 mana spell. That 1 mana spell ended up costing 5. Right? So, really good card. And even just for like when somebody's like, I tap all my mana, and you're like, it'll quench you. Absolutely, it'll quench you. Lost Days, another Avatar card. It's a basic, but stuff like this is so useful, especially when somebody puts like 30-40 counters, 1/1 counters on a creature, or they have like all these little special counters like lifelink and trample and all these other things and reach and blah blah blah. Just play Lost Days as an instant. So on play, it'll only cost you 2 and a blue. Because of her floating red. The owner of target creature or enchantment library, second from the top or on the bottom. Then you make a clue token, which draw cards. Woo! There's our card draw. So guess what? You copy it, and then you just target either 2 enchantments or 2 creatures. There's a lot of strong enchantments out now that are extremely useful, but you get around it with this. So if there's something like preventing you from doing something, let's say propaganda. Yes, you will have to pay the 2 on attack with the Azula, but then after that, they'll have to replay propaganda, right? So that's mana they have to use up. That's time being spent on drawing a card. So it makes them think about putting it up. Makes them think about just putting it to the new strategy in there. Shouldered's Edict. This classic just ruin everybody's day instant. It's extremely powerful for an uncommon. It's choose 1, which again, if you copy it, you can do both. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token. Opponent sacrifices a token, or each opponent sacrifices a planeswalker. If you're playing party planeswalkers, this sucks. Playing a token deck, this is gonna suck. If you're playing a token deck where the only non-token creature is your commander, holy shit, guess what? You just had to sacrifice your commander. Like that. Ty Lee Chi blocker. This is an interesting way that it comes in and plays. So this has flash. So with Azula's attack, you can pay just 1 blue, get Ty Lee in here. So flash, boom, she enters, and it's when you cast. So when you're casting this, you're actually going to copy it. So they will both enter, but also the legendary rule is going to apply. So you're going to have to sacrifice second Ty Lee. Here's the thing: her ability still goes off when Ty Lee enters. Tap up to 1 target creature. It does not untap during its controller's untap for as long as you control Ty Lee. Here's the thing: despite the fact that Ty Lee is going to get, the second one's going to get sacrificed, still taps a creature. So you still get a free tap. So if somebody has 2 blockers and you needed to get just, let's say, 1 damage pass to win, now they have no blockers. And then the first Ty Lee is going to keep whichever blocker you chose first from untapping. long as she stays on the field. Oh, another counterspell, Undermine. I didn't realize how expensive this was. $9 for a 3 mana counterspell. I thought this would be, um, you know, cheaper, but apparently it's not. It's counter target spell. Its controller loses life. I'm willing to bet we'll run this in like a copy spell deck or something. Then they just copy it like 10 or 20 times and they just auto lose. But you get to counter target spell and then it loses, or the controller loses. It's pretty good. There's not going to be any like discount from Azula, but it's only 3 mana, so not a big deal. And then lastly, on this removal, is Volcanic Torrent. As Cascade. It's a sorcery. So you're going to pay 5, and then you're going to Cascade. When you cast it, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land that costs less. 4, 3, 1. Cast it without paying the mana cost. But you run mostly instants, you're probably going to find an instant. Then Volcanic Torrent deals X damage to and Planeswalker your opponent's control, where X is the number of spells you've cast this turn. This could be an asymmetrical board wipe. It means that you destroy everybody else's shit, and then like nothing happens to your side of the field. So with like a lot of there's a lot of discount in the deck. There's a lot of way to cast multiple things. Volcanic Torrent is probably going to deal anywhere. Well, minimum it's going to deal 2 probably. Which it has the Cascade on it, and X is the number of spells you've cast this turn. So boom, Volcanic Torrent. Boom, your second spell ticks off, and then Volcanic Torrent is going to trigger. But probably, since you have a million and you're paying 5 mana for this, probably have enough mana to go ahead and play 2 more spells. But let's say you're looking at you're looking anywhere from 2 to 5 damage to every creature in Planeswalker your opponent, and you're cascading, so you're getting into even more damage to more things, or maybe even you're copying this spell with another spell that you can. You never know. This card will show up. It'll do work for you. The land, I just did my best to keep it Avatar themed. I got Agna Kella. You draw and discard a card. Airship Engine Room. Bloodfell Caves. Boiling Rock Prison. Crossroads Village. You really do need the ability to access all 3 of your colors. Evolving Wilds, Exotic Orchard. Fire Nation Palace is going to give a creature firebending plus whatever. So like Azula, usually if you get Fire Nation Palace first, she's going to have a lot. Myriad Landscape to go in land. Realm of Ko. If you're a little behind, and it's not the best include for this deck, you can definitely switch it. I was thinking of trading this in for the Biblioplex from Haven. To like, I think it's to copy instant. But basically, with this one, you can create spirits, and they can't block or be blocked by non-spirit creatures, but that is pretty good though, because then you can just start pinging people for 1 because you can't block with them. So like until you get to a level, it's just a little bit of bonus, but you don't have like that. Restless Spire is really fun. Transform it into an elemental, and boom, it has first strike. It's still a land. When it attacks, cry. Good way to get through your deck. Restless Fence, River Pyre Verge. Didn't realize this was a $25 card. I got this forever ago, and I got multiple copies in Ether Drift. And I even sold a bunch of them. So I was like, oh, I'm never gonna use this. Dude, they're $25. It's crazy. Like, kind of like, I should have kept them, but at the same time, I kind of don't care. Just because I'm not that kind of player that who needs all the most powerful cards in the world. Rumble Arena, you can try, Serpent's Pass, Temple of Epiphany, more Scry, Spectre, Watery Grave. Watery Grave, I just had it laying around, but it's $14. So I just threw it in there because it's blue-black. Um, and you can have it entered untapped. White Lotus Hideout. This one mana of any color for a lessons. So we have a lot of lessons. Let's put this in. We'll go down here. Apparently I have theft in here. I'm just putting stuff in that feels right. But Azula, Cunning Usurper, is a creature. I think this is the first creature we're talking about. She has firebending too, just like her, twin. When she enters, target opponent exiles a non-token they control. Sorry, I just want to make sure my camera's picking. A non-token creature they control. Then they exile a non-land card from their graveyard. During your turn, you may cast cards exiled with Azula, and you may cast them as flash. And of any type can be spent. She steals things. She may be 5 mana, but honestly, she's pretty dope. I enjoy playing other people's cards. It's very fun. Rogue class is just an enchantment that's going to sit there. Whenever a creature, it'll come in with whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, you exile the top card of that player's library face down. You may look at it for as long as it remains exiled. Taking people's cards in Commander is one of the best strategies, hands down. Is it annoying? 1000%. Is it really good though? So you pay for the level 2 creatures you control have menace. That's dope. Your commander now cannot be blocked by less than 2 creatures. Excuse me. Sorry if I made you yawn. And then level 3, you can play cards exile with rogue class, and you may spend mana as though it were any color. Cast those spells. So at the end of it, after 2, 5, 9 mana total, you can finally steal and play cards. And then lastly, on the theft, you have Siphon Insight. 2 mana. It's 1 blue, 1 black, and instant, which you can copy. You can look at the top 2 cards of target opponent's library, exile one of them face down, other on the bottom of the library. So even if you get 2 really good cards, the other one, guess what, goes down to the bottom. So you can play the exiled card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color. I really enjoyed the Gonti, the Thief deck from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. And Azula at some time felt like she was a little rogue. So and she wanted to take everything. To take the Fire Nation. She wanted to take, things from people, So anyways, you get to take cards from folks, and she kind of looks a little bit like Azula if you look to the side a little bit. Then it has flashback. And you're copying this because it's an instant, probably playing it on attack. So you're stealing cards and then card bearing, bottom decking. Ember Island Production. Love this card. I'm surprised it wasn't a rare, but choose one. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except it's not legendary and it's a 4/4 hero in addition to. Or you can create a token copy of target creature controls, except it's not legendary and it's powered in addition to types. Holy shit. 2 Firelord Azulas on the field at the same time, giving you firebending 4 essentially, and then you're double copying. This is a fucking heat. This card here. Or let's say your opponent plays a shouldered. Boom, give me that shoulder, baby. And then you can start, gaining life draw and Nightmares and Daydreams. Again, this is Avatar. You can find this in their I was gonna say playbook. You could find it in their Jumpstart booster packs. Until your next turn, whenever you cast an instant sorcery, target player mills cards equal to that spell's mana value. This goes on for 3 turns, and it's when you cast, not when you copy. So you can make people mill, especially people who don't have graveyard play. That's really so. And then on 4, you draw a card. If a graveyard has 20 cards in it, draw 3 instead. Just more good card draw, and it kind of messes with people's, ability to play certain things. Fire Nation attacks. This is cost you 3 off of Azula's attack. Create 2/2/2 red soldier. Firebending 1. Dope as fuck because now you can have Firebending 4 essentially help you cast those pricier spells. Then it has a flashback of 9, which isn't that crazy thinking of all of the firebending we have in this. You can just make 2 more, red soldiers with firebending. Counters, Knowledge Seeker, another, avatar card, Vigilance, and whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a 1/1 on this creature. Sometimes cards like this are ignored and get so out of hand. But the cool thing is, if it gets wiped, if it doesn't get ignored, you still get to make a clue token. So, more card draw. Essentially, this card, like in Commander, you want to think about cards that like replace themselves as you play them. Like, if it's not a tutor, it's something that like gives you something else to do once it's gone. So this one, once it's dead, gives you a clue token. Draw another card. Protection. We have Lazotep Plating. I got this from the starter Commander deck, the zombie one. This one's pretty fun. For a blue, because of firebending, you're gonna amass 1. You're gonna make a zombie army with 1. That's not what's important. Important is you permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. So yes, this is doubled, but you're getting you and permanents you can gain hexproof. Not indestructible, just hexproof. But that is the key word there is permanent, plural. So it's all of them. So if it's like target opponent, boom, you're protected, you gain hexproof. Or if it's target artifacts, boom, they're protected, they gain hexproof. So wonderful card to play. Octopus form. I thought this was interesting because your creature will get +2/+2 copy, but it'll gain hexproof until end of turn. Then, boom, you get to untap your Azula, which is dope as fuck because you start defending for you. If this is the only card you've played, Azula is now a 6. Wild Ricochet. Oh my god, I freaking love this card. How is it 80 cents? For 4 mana with Azula, it's 2 red. You may choose new targets for target instant sorcery. So this is doubled, which is crazy. Then you copy that spell. Copy. You may choose new targets for the copy. So choose new targets for target instant sorcery. Boom. So I'm so sorry, you don't murder my card. You're gonna murder this one. Then you're gonna copy it. Not only that, the copy of this card, you can then copy it again. So then you have 3 different triggers, or I'm sorry, 3 different instances using essentially. So this one card just created 3 total interactions on the board. If somebody's trying to counterspell, if somebody's trying to, like, I don't know, mess with you anyway, bounce something, boom, wild ricochet, boom, no, absolutely no. Down to your commander, baby. Or guess what? If they're trying to hexproof their commander from something, guess what? I hexproof mine, and actually, I'm gonna turn around this little ability, or excuse me, I'm gonna turn around this little instant that I had going. I'm gonna make it target your command. Wild ricochet is a crazy card to be 80 cents. I didn't think that was true. But low and lead twin tutors, you can go when you play these bitches because they are some bad bitches. I love them in the show. You search your library for a lesson or a noble card. We have plenty of lessons. I don't know that we have many nobles. Reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Twin tutors, it's cute. You immediately tutor something, but then guess what? Noble creatures will have and lesson spells you control have lifelink. So there's a little bit of life gain in this deck. There's not a lot. But then your noble, your Fire Lord Azula, then has lifelink because of low and lead. Okay. On to one of the really, really expensive cards in the deck, and I know $49.99 sitting over here staring at you in the face, but Spellseeker is awesome. Make sure I'm still recording things properly. Okay. I have not recorded in such a long time, and I feel like I'm not. I feel like my microphone's not picking up anything, but it's like it is. So Um, when Spellseeker enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an instant card with mana value 2 or less. Feel it, put it in your hand. There is so many instants in this deck that are 2 or less. Get whatever the hell you need with Spellseeker. She's a creature. She becomes a 1/1 body. She replaces herself. This is exactly why this card. We'll go to. There's apparently there's 20 cards just for draw, which is crazy. So we'll go through them. Abandon attachments. We got it is for 1 and a blue or red. You may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. Obviously, we're discarding a card, but you get to copy this if you are like, oh, I have enough land. Discard these 2. Let me draw 4 cards, right? Because you're going to be copying. So, just really good card draw. Accumulate wisdom. Top 3 of your library. Put one of those in your hand. Rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Each of those cards in your hand instead if there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard. This card is good to cast at any time, even if you don't have your commander out. Also, don't ever think you need Azula out or anything. Just like try your best to build board, get Azula out, start slinging. That's what you need to do. All you need to do really with this is make sure you have some sort of defenses, enough mana base, support Fire Lord Azula, the turn that she can, right? So, excuse me. And then accumulate wisdom. We have a bunch of lessons. Probably going to be holding 6 cards when you cast this. Copy it. Azula on the hunt. Firebending 2, just like all the other Azulas. When she attacks, you lose 1 life and you create a clue token. I just like this card because you make clue and it's really fun. And it's Avatar. Chakra Meditation. Again, this is going to be from the Jumpstart Avatar. I was really lucky when I pulled this. But when this enters, return up to 1 target instant sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, draw a card. Then discard a card unless there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard. If you get this thing out early, I promise you, you're going to feel like a genuine spell slinger because you're going to be constantly drawing and drawing. And after only 3, after only what's it called? Lessons in your graveyard, you're going to be holding on to all of them. You're going to be holding on to everything. On cast draw, on cast draw, on cast. And enchantment removal, artifact removal is much less common than creature removal. So hopefully this. Cross your fingers for the. Consider Surveil 1. Look at the top card of your library. You may put it into your graveyard. Draw a card. It's just draw, but also you can surveil if there's a lesson that you don't want to use or that's not like useful in the game. Put it into your. You don't need it, and then it'll empower all the other cards that you have that do rely on lessons being in your graveyard. Of that one, Dragonfly Swarm. This is also from Avatar, flying in Ward 1, which is great. This creature's power is equal to the number of non-creature, non-land cards in your graveyard. So everything but creatures and lands. So your sorceries, your instants, enchantments, your artifacts. When this creature dies, if there's a lesson card in your graveyard, draw a card. Holy shit! This is like one of the best Izzet cards I've seen in a while. Like, except for those that like make things cheaper. So energy bending for 2. Is going to make this free, and then you get to copy it. Lands you control gain all basic land types. Drawing 2 cards probably. I really like this card, Glimmer Burst. You get to draw 2 cards. If you copy it, you draw. You create a 1/1 white Glimmer. For more mana, 2 cards and a creature is not bad. But then you're playing Azula, so you're copying this. So 4 cards and 2 creatures for 2 mana is insane. I have Meringue River Regent in here. It used to be like super expensive. Now it's only $4. But Coil and Catch, for 4 mana, you draw 3, then discard a card. Holy shit! And then you omen this. You put it back in your deck. Um, and then you can play this anytime, as long as you have 6 mana. Whenever this creature enters, return up to 2 target non-land permanents to their owner's hands. Holy shit! Really strong card. Mask of Gristlebrand. This is going to be one of your equipments. There's a couple of equipments in the deck. Equipped creature has flying and lifelink. Get it on the board ASAP. Whenever the equipped creature dies, you can pay X life, or X is its power if you do draw X. So if Azula's rocking this, you can pay 4 life and draw 4. The equip is 3, but I think the payoff is way better. You know, Mental Modulation, another instant, costs 1 less to cast during your turn, which is fine. So it's always going to be a blue. Tap target artifact or creature, then you draw a card. So you're drawing 2 cards for a blue. And you're tapping 2 artifacts or 2 Knight's Whisper, draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Sometimes, like, eventually card draw is going to be unnecessary after a while. So there's a lot of cards that you can discard off of other discard effects that you may have, like this one. Discard a card, draw a card, and Professor Zay. There's a lot of redundancy in this deck, but here's the thing. In Commander, you're usually only going to see the first, or you're only going to see 30 to 40 cards out of your deck on any average game. So you need to make sure that, you know, at least, I want to say a third of your deck feels redundant. Feels like, oh, well, this card does the same thing for a similar cost with different colors. So why would I put it in there? Well, you're not going to see it, really. There's a 60% chance you're never going to see that card during a game. So put stuff in there. But this one has a nice payoff. Discard and draw a card. You can sack them. Sorry, you can sacrifice Professor Zay. I like to say sack is shorthand. Return target instant graveyard to your hand. Activate only during. So the payoff for sacrificing him, which I love episode, just it makes me cry every time. But you know, sending him to the graveyard for knowledge. Raven Eagle, when it enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Perfect for graveyard hate. If a creature card is exiled this way, create a clue token. You know these they always play in their creature graveyard bullshit. And then whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses life, you gain life. That's not really that important. But the Raven Eagle itself is a nice, cheap card with flying that will get through blockers because it's flying. And then you get to draw more and remove more. Love it. Does a lot for just 3 mana. Struggle for Project Purity. I got this from Fallout. As it enters, you choose Brotherhood or Enclave. Brotherhood says, beginning of your upkeep, each draws a card. Then you draw a card for each card drawn this way. So everybody draws a card, but then you get to draw 3. Dope as hell. And then Enclave, whenever a player attacks you with one or more creatures, that player gets twice that many rad counters. I like to think if you already have draw online, don't need Brotherhood. If you have somebody playing tokens and other bullshit, use the Enclave option, but that one is not really going to be utilized most of the time. It's just when you see somebody who's an attack deck and they're just constantly pinging you, use Enclave. But really, Brotherhood is like the auto ping. No matter what, you probably should be getting Brotherhood. Just very niche scenarios for Enclave, so just choose Brotherhood for the most part. The Blue Spirit. This is one of the biggest cards in the deck that I think truly empowers Azula and makes her feel broken as fuck. There's not a lot of flash creatures in the deck. I think there should be. But me personally, I like the instant side of Magic. I like playing little. I like it whenever you can have a big explosive turn and then just like kind of sit back and relax and watch everything suffer and have build. It's really fun. But Blue Spirit is broken as hell. So you may cast the first creature spell you cast each turn as though it had flash. Whenever a non-token creature you control enters during combat, draw a card. So this one works perfectly with Azula. Let's say Azula attacks, right? 2 red floating. First creature spell you cast each turn, so you don't cast any creatures during main. Wait till combat. Boom. Creature enters, Azula copies it. The blue spirit, when a non-token creature enters, one did, draw a card. So immediately get to make 2 creatures, then you get to draw a card. A lot of the creatures that can do powerful things. Let's say you had Spellseeker. Get 2 Spellseeker enters. Get to draw a card. Get to go and tutor for 2. 2 cards in one play. That's insane. That's a lot of value. The Legend of Kuruk, again, Avatar. We pulled this and we were so happy to see it. I had to put it in Azula. You get to scry 2, then draw a card. So every turn for 2 turns, you're drawing an extra card. You're also scrying 2. Without nonsense. Exile the saga, then return it transformed. Transform size says whenever you cast a spell, never, not copy, get a 1/1 color spirit, can't block or be blocked, exhaust him. Use the exhaust, waterbend X. Take an extra turn after this one. I'm sorry, not X, 20. I don't know why I said X. You waterbend 20. Take an extra turn after. Insane. I think this is a crazy powerful card. If you can ever get it to pop off, holy shit, does it feel good. I have yet to do it, so hopefully we get to see it. We have maybe I need a refresh. I have stuff glitched. There we go. Unagi. So Unagi Flash. There's a card with Flash. So you can copy this one, although it will kill itself. Has Ward Waterbend 4, makes it very hard to remove. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw 2. This is really supposed to be used when somebody draws a second card. Flash in Unagi, boom, they get the draw, you get the draw. Or you get 2. So it's really, really useful. Vault 12. Saga, tap, on target creature. Stun counter on it. Get 2 energy. Not very important for Azula right now, but you'll see on the. So do this twice. You're gonna tap and stun 2 creatures. You're gonna have 4 total energy. On 3, pay any amount of energy. 4. If you paid 1 or more this way, shuffle your library, then exile that many cards from the top. You may play one of those cards without paying its mana cost. I would suggest to just do 4 of them, and that way you get 4 choices. So if you get land, you know, at least you'll get a chance on the other 3. So just do 4, and then you get to play something without paying the mana cost. Boom. Really, really fun. And here comes the high dollar card really in the deck. It's a cost a fifth of the deck's cost. Wan Shi Tong Aquarium. I have pulled 3 of them. They're awesome, but I sold one. It has Flash. Boom. Flash it in during combat. You can get 2 if you want. But the other one will get sacked. Then Wan Shi Tong enters. Put X 1/1 counters on him. Then draw half X cards, round it down. So basically you'll be drawing copy. If you pay X copy, then you can do it, but I guess he won't enter. Anyways, then you draw half X cards. Whenever an opponent searches their library, put a 1/1 on Wan Shi Tong and just a really good card. Even if you don't pay X, just him on the board is Conformer Shuriken. We have an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has, whenever this creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. If that creature has greater power than this creature, than Azula, probably usually, put a number of 1/1s on this creature equal to the difference. Mossborn Hydra, you have 200 and whatever counters on there. Let me get 200 and something counters on Azula, right? So boom, you're tapping it. not only are you tapping it, you're basically bypassing whatever huge monster these guys have, or you're bypassing a tap use, or you're forcing somebody to use up a tap ability. Very fun. Um, and then cunning maneuver, an instant, so target creature will get +6/+2 until end of turn, and then create a clue token. Really good for like making a trade. Um, and then you make 2 clue tokens because you're copying it, and then you draw 2 cards. How to start a riot. I see this card pop up a lot when I play this deck. So target creature gains menace till turn, so double menace, or you can put it on 2 different creatures, manage to get multiple creatures on board, and then creatures target player controls get +2 till end. So you'll have all of your creatures get +2, or what I really like about this card, because I've used it like this before, is you target somebody else's creature on their attack, and then just when the opponent thought, oh, they don't have lethal, all of a sudden you give 5 creatures +2. That's 10 extra damage that probably close, if not at lethal. Really interesting card. Use it to buff your own creature, or you use it to buff somebody else's fucking creature. Hilarious. Definitely politic with this card and show it just to that opponent. Be like, hey, do this real quick. Yeah, you know, I don't know. Evasion, we have there's 2 equipments up here that are extremely powerful. Atomic Microsizer, it's just an uncommon from Edge of Eternities. Equipped creature gets +1, and whenever they attack, choose up to 1 target creature. That creature can't be blocked this turn, and has base power toughness. Kind of guarantee your Azula can't be blocked. Nice, because you don't want her to die. Prowler's Helm does a similar thing. Again, redundancy. Equipped creature can't be blocked except walls. So unfortunately, if you're blocked by a wall, it's a problem. I don't see a lot of walls in Commander though. But boom, equip 2. Just can't be blocked. Then we go to ramp. Bender's Water Skin. Untap this artifact on during other players' untap step. You have a lot of 1 mana things you can do. Use Bender's Water Skin. I'm surprised this card isn't like $5. You got Gran. Whenever she becomes tapped, draw a card, then discard a card. Non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast as long as they're less than cards in the graveyard. Again, if she's on the field, you know, use Gran. Mizzix of Is Magnus. This is a really good card for spell slinging. Cast an instant sorcery with mana value greater than the number of experience counters you have. You get an experience counter. And then instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less for each. Guess what? After you cast maybe, I don't know, 3 experience counters, all of your instant and sorceries are gonna cost 1. All of them. You don't run heavy cards in this at all. I want to say the heaviest, let's see, 5 mana here for Lost Days. 5 mana Volcanic Torrent. Geez. You got, I don't know. I don't see anything really over 5 that's an instant sorcery. I really think maybe an X card would be good in here. Oh, you have Day of Black Sun. But I mean, that's, you know, you're playing Wan Shi Tong. You're going to get him out with minimum 1 counter. Still, you know, the fact of the matter is this guy will ball out of control when she North Pole Patrol Avatar. Keep the theme. Untap another target permanent you control, and then waterbend 3, tap target creature, and a North Pole Patrol, not Paw Patrol, Pole Patrol is really good because sometimes you need a blocker, sometimes Azula is your only, and it's going to be very useful to get them to untap. I know there's a bunch of combos you could be doing with other tap creatures, guys. We don't always have to play combo. We don't always have to play the most annoying thing in the world that makes other people. It's or that makes other people want to target you, because if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna go, I do a million things on my board, and then you're not gonna expect a response from anybody else. That's insane. That's insanity in Commander. That is hubris in Commander because you're like, oh, I'm gonna do a million five things. Yeah, I play farewell. Say goodbye to all your bull past. Thanks. Or I play Glenn Elendger's Anthem. Say goodbye to all the fucking stacks you just triggered, bitch. And now I have 75 blue black fairies, and now you're gonna be black and blue. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no point in doing whatever the combos. Again, that's for another video, but I'm kind of liking making this video. Serpent of the Pass. If there are 3 or more lesson cards in graveyard, you can cast this as Flash. It's a 6/5. It's big and scary. It's Serpent of the Pass. I just think it's really put in there. Costs 1 less for each non-creature, non-card in your grave. Eventually, it'll cost 2 blue and be a 6/5 on the board. Is it the biggest creature ever? No. Is it cool though that you put a bunch of instant sorceries and other things in your graveyard? Yeah. And it can be a blocker. Who cares? Why do I have to put the most powerful thing in the world ever when I can have Firelord Azula summon the Serpent Pass? You know, it's pretty dope. Anyways, last card of the deck, and then I'll get out of here. Rod of Absorption. This is from D. When I saw this card, I was like, hell's yeah. Number one, I'm a DM for D&D. I love being a dungeon. Number two, it feels broken. Whenever a player casts an instant sorcery, exile it instead of putting it into a graveyard as it resolves. So people just don't get access to their instant sorceries anymore. Especially if those things had flashback. So AX, tap, sack Rod of Absorption. You may cast any number of spells from among cards exile Rod of Absorption with total mana value of X or less without paying their mana cost. So total mana value. So let's say you have exiled 15 total mana value of cards. Pay 15, tap it, you cast all. You know, are you doing it for free? But are you stealing their shit? Hell yeah. So that is gonna be it, really. I mean, that's Azula in a nutshell. She's extremely strong. I think she gets really scary really fast. And as long as you, because like, I mean, it's blue, right? As long as you are sitting there thinking about how to, counter certain things certain people have, like, as long as you're paying attention to what people are doing when, you catch people on the back foot, you can catch them off guard and just completely mollywop them. Say a scenario is like somebody has a bunch of tokens, right? And they're just going to block Azula. Well, before we start attacking that person, we need to go somewhere else, attack elsewhere, and then copy other spells so that we can then focus down the token person. Hopefully you can run into a board wipe. Hopefully you do all of that. But really what you should be doing is looking to somebody else, attacking this way, and then kind of like politicking around the board and trying to like help get like somebody has like 10 or 20 tokens. That's rough. So what you want to do is try your best to utilize other people. Commander is a game that is inherently talking to people. That is inherently, hey, can I do this? Would it be cool? And people are like, no. And if you have a Dirty Dan at the board and he's all grumpy, she's all grumpy, whoever they are, I don't care. I've played against guys and girls and days and then. There's a person who you will run into at the board, at the table, and you will say, holy shit, it was rough playing with them. Holy shit. All they wanted to do was win. All they wanted to do was have their deck do everything and your deck do nothing. And it's just so common. I hate it. quick story, I had a guy show up, play with my buddy Caleb and I, and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be running Eldrazi if that's okay." And we just look at each other like, "Oh, we're killing this motherfucker." Like, it was like we didn't have to say a goddamn thing to each other. We just knew. We were like, "Hey, 5 turns in, we're countering everything this dude has, and we're killing him, the fuck out of him." Guess what happened? This dude goes, "All right, I scoop. Yeah, I can see that you guys just." He starts picking up all his cards. "I can just see that you guys don't want me to play. I don't want you to play. We said it's okay for you to sit down. Just told us you're gonna be playing Eldrazi. That's all. We told you exactly what our decks are about. My friend's making snakes, and I think I was playing Spellslinger. Like, yeah, you're playing Eldrazi, which is Spellslinger, but with, you know, creatures, which is crazy. Also, Eldrazi's kind of like everything, all the colors with no color, because when he was playing that shit, it was like, okay, destroy 2 permanents you control. Okay, I'm gonna pay this to counter this spell. I was like, oh my god, he's just doing what every color wants to do in one package of colorless. And it was like, number one, it was boring. So I was just like, okay, you just get to play the coolest, biggest shit ever. But number two, it was so fun getting him to get so upset and run away from the table. So, anyways, that's all I got. Like, subscribe, all that BS. I really don't care if you do or not. All I care about is that people enjoy this game. They play in a fun style, that benefits them, and I don't know, their personality maybe. If you want to play in your personality, do that. But yeah. Uh, Anyways, I hope you had fun listening to me rant a little bit and show off this deck. Bye.